Tensions continue to build between the Democratic People's Republic of Korea and the United States. Hello, I'm Nathan King, filling in for Anna Naidu, and this is The Heat. Hello, it's been an extraordinary week as tensions continue to escalate between the United States and the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. US President Donald Trump has issued strong warnings to the DPRK over its nuclear program and missile testing. And the DPRK has accused the US of, quote, driving the Korean peninsula to the brink of a nuclear war. Meanwhile, China is urging both sides to use restraint. We begin our coverage with CGTN correspondent Jessica Stone, who joins us from our newsroom. Jessica, you've been across all this with President Trump. He just spoke to reporters about the situation on the Korean Peninsula. Did we get any new news or more rhetoric?
Well, we got both, actually. President Trump says the U.S. is considering further sanctions against Pyongyang. That's something for the record today. He also says he will be speaking in a matter of hours by phone to Chinese President Xi Jinping. Now, as you know, the two, of course, have been somewhat looking at the situation differently on the Korean Peninsula, with China trying to calm the escalating rhetoric between Kim Jong-un and Donald Trump. China's foreign ministry releasing a statement earlier today, reading in part, quote, China hopes that all related parties could watch their words and actions and refrain from an old path of flaunting powers and raising tensions. This came, of course, after Trump openly threatened Pyongyang with, quote, fire and fury, and then went further on Friday morning with this tweet. We'll put it up for you now. Quote, military solutions are now fully in place, locked and loaded, should North Korea act unwisely. Hopefully, Kim Jong-un will find another path. And the U.S. president has repeatedly throughout the day warned that if anything happens to the U.S. territory of Guam, where some 168,000 people live, many of them U.S. military, there will be, quote, hell to pay. Take a listen.
If he utters one threat in the form of an overt threat, which, by the way, he has been uttering for years and his family has been uttering for years, or if he does anything with respect to Guam or any place else that's an American territory or an American ally, he will truly regret it, and he will regret it fast.
So, Nathan, that's the rhetoric. The reality is, though, that it's worth noting there is little evidence at this point of a U.S. military buildup in the region. As you know, there's already a significant U.S. presence of the military there, and at the same time, we are getting other global officials weighing in on all of this. German Chancellor Angela Merkel voicing her concern that the solution for the Korea nuclear crisis still lies in the hands of diplomats and not war planners.
I'm glad you mentioned the D word, diplomacy. I mean, it's all been rhetoric. Where's the diplomacy that could ease these tensions?
It's an age-old question, as you and I both well know, but on Thursday, President Trump did tell reporters he is open to negotiations. He sought to clarify that further during the remarks that you showed a little excerpt of there. He does say that most missile tests and, the DPRK has to stop its nuclear and missile tests before these negotiations can begin. That has been a precondition that has been largely really pushed, though, by the U.S. Secretary of State. At the same time, though, it's worth pointing out that the Associated Press is reporting that there's still a back-channel diplomacy going on between the Americans and between the DPRK in the form of Joseph Yoon. He is an American diplomat that is the special envoy to North Korea. He has continued to meet with an envoy from the DPRK up in New York. And all of that, as you may remember, began during the effort to free U.S. student Otto Warmbier, but it still is continuing. And it's an important time now because it could really serve a new purpose to explain all of this rhetoric, to maybe even walk it back on both sides, because as you well know, Washington and Pyongyang, they don't have an official diplomatic relationship.
Yeah, thanks, Jessica. And that channel has been used before, hasn't it? Okay.